The 5th annual Extra Life Video Game Marathon is coming up on October 20th, 2012. Now it's time for gamers to make a difference. Extra Life is just like a run or a walk or a bike event, except you never have to leave the comfort of your own living room. Just sign up online at extra-life.org to register. On October 20th at 8 a.m., you play any games you want for 24 hours. Find out more and sign up to play online at extra-life.org. Play games, heal kids. Extra Life.
So normally you think you'd hear some kind of witty exchange right before the intro music, right? Well, not this week. Imagine my reaction when I import my audio and I find 45 minutes of a flat waveform. Yep, nothing. Aside from the interview in the middle of the show, I was forced to use the backup audio. You guys probably won't notice that much, but then again, I am an anal audio scrutinizer. So, anyway, enjoy.
Draw your sword, knock your arrows, and ready your spellbook. It's time for another episode of The Gamesmen. What role will you play?
Guys, gals, and guildies, welcome to episode 88 of The Gamesmen. This is the show for the week of October the 8th, 2012. I am Steve Conger, also known as JSS Lyfeliek on basically every gaming service imaginable, and we're coming to you again, going to talk some games. We got some extra life talk, which, you're going to be sick of hearing that by the next 2 or 3 weeks, so, get used to it. Dig in and become a trooper. Be a trooper about it. So, obviously, never here by myself. It happened once a long time ago, but it hasn't happened since. And with me is the guy who is about ready to lose his Razer sponsorship, KSI Hardlydan, Mr. Daniel Knappman.
Oh, man, that guy. I'm glad he's been banned from Eurogamer.
Oh, boy, that was a mess. When you showed me that video, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. If you don't know, it's not really suitable for work, I guess. It's not really suitable for anyone, because this guy is a complete and utter douche. But if you YouTube KSI being awkward in Eurogamer, you'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes, I think. I'll throw a link to it in the notes, even though I probably shouldn't, because I should not justify what he did with page views. But, yeah. It's... My God. I mean, what a twat.
Yeah, he's kind of made a living out of being an idiot in public and filming it and putting it on YouTube, and people seem to like it for some reason. I guess some people find it funny. I just see it as more humiliating to himself, actually.
Well,
I'd be kind of upset if I could only make money by doing stuff like that.
Well, I think there would be a footnote on that page that says "See Hip Hop Gamer."
Yeah.
Basically, So what's going on with you, Dan? Nothing?
Oh, not much, not much at all, really.
Is
your in the paper?
Is your status raised by the newfound fame of yours?
Oh, I've had an extra sponsorship. But that's been about it. I haven't seen anyone all week, so apart from Mum, she went out and bought 2 copies of the paper just in case I wasn't in one of them.
She probably has them laminated. She's getting ready to frame them. All kinds of stuff.
Well, there's kind of 2 editions in this area of that paper, and I'm not actually in one of them, so she had to go and buy the one she doesn't normally get in a different area. So she wasn't happy about that.
Well, hopefully the larger readerships on the one you're in. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think, but I'm not entirely sure. But it's on their webpage, so hopefully someone's seen it.
Yeah,
but hasn't already sponsored me.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if you get one extra sponsor out of it, it's worth it.
Yeah, and I already have, so.
Excellent.
I had to put the link on Facebook, but, I got an extra sponsorship.
Just spam Facebook. I'm trying to get my wife to. I don't think she has yet. Told her to put it up once a day every day until the 19th or the 20th,
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've actually done a couple little... little side jobs kind of things, and somebody said, "There's something wrong with my computer. Here, you want a couple bucks?" I'm like, "No, just throw something on this page right here." That's cool. Yeah, so pretty good stuff. But yeah, nothing going on with me, man. I was supposed to have the weekend off. I was supposed to have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for the holiday. When this goes up, that'll be, obviously on the holiday. And they forced me in Saturday, so I got to go in tomorrow. And, I still have 3 days off, but it's just like right smack dab in the middle, man. And, it's not just days off. It's like a mini vacation, so they're interrupting my mini vacation.
You could have leveled up in Guild Wars a few times. I
could have done all kind of crap. I don't know. Now I got to be up early, which means I got to go to bed early. I don't know. It's kind of crappy. But you know what? I played a ton of stuff this week. A ton.
Well, that's good, because I've barely played anything.
Really? Really? Oh, God. I bet you could probably fill a 2-slot list and with nothing left over.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to get into a couple things here, and then we have a little break. And I had a chance to sit down with 2 of the VGhub team participants, Mr. MurphysLaw, Greg DeLacy, and Robin Tate, Bongo the Sane, to sort of interview them so you get to know, who they are, and maybe that could help you, just push you over the edge to sponsor one of them, for Extra Life. So, and they are actually really interesting people, and I learned some things about Bongo that I didn't even know. So, I think it's kind of amazing, Dan, when you think about it, that everybody has a story. And a lot of times, other people's stories are interesting. It's just that we don't take long enough to care or even care to find out.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be kind of neat to do over the next couple of weeks and just get the guys on that are comfortable with, with coming behind a mic and talking a little bit. And, obviously it's all for the good of children. So good stuff. Well, piggybacking off of last week's show, I said that I was going to try the XCOM demo, and I did.
I said I was going to try it, and I didn't. How is it?
You know what? Are you sitting down?
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
Really?
I kind of like it.
Wow.
I think the reason why I'm digging it so much, and I mean, I'm not head over heels about it, because at a base level, it's still kind of like a strategy game. But my biggest problem with RTSs and like turn-based strategy games and things like that is the action is always from that sort of 3/4 zoomed out view. You really don't get to see the action. It's like everything happens from a bird's eye view, and it's almost like a God game. And it's not framed up the way that I like it. Now this, and this is the first thing I noticed was, when you move one of your units, one of your soldiers toward like a window, you can have them sort of bust through the window and enter the building, right?
Right.
But when it does that, it cuts to this sort of cinematic action camera view, and they bust through the window, and, right where the window shatters, time sort of slows down for just a split second, and they fall through, and they roll right into cover, right?
Nice.
It is super cinematic, and that's what I'm liking about it, because that's kind of the thing that you don't get from RTS games. And me, I'm not a graphics guy, but I'm a visual guy.
Yeah.
Like I love to see an adequate representation on screen of the actions that I'm doing, not just watching somebody from, a quarter mile away.
Yeah, of course.
Do it. But I played it on Steam, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a bit discouraged early on, because I went into big picture mode. And I figured I'd play this with the 360 controller, right? And I go into big picture mode, I launch it, and I'm moving things around with the controller, but it's still saying that my only input device is a mouse. So I'm like, oh, really? You mean I'm gonna have to use a controller and a mouse? And I'm sitting there thinking, no, that's just way too disjointed of a way to go about this. Like it can't be that way. So I played it for a little bit, and I said, well, let's cut it down and start it back up. So when I started it up the second time, I switched my wireless mouse off, so it didn't even the machine didn't even recognize it, right?
Yeah.
And from that point, it changed the UI up to Xbox 360 standards, and it played pretty well like that. I was surprised. It's almost like when you look at the way the map is set up, you'll see overturned cars. You'll see a fountain, like when you start in the level in Germany, right in the very beginning, like the tutorial thing. And it shows like all the places that you can go into cover. And the cover is represented by a little shield. So now if it's full cover, the shield is fully blue. If it's only half, like waist-high cover, the shield is about a half on the quality of the cover. And obviously, I think that increases, the less cover obviously increases the hit rate chance, of an enemy to hit your unit. So, but the cool thing is it's almost like it takes all that and it grids out around all these little objects, right? And the grid, according to, it's a grid that you don't see, but as you move the stick around, it sort of snaps to spots. It's like sort of like a Photoshop type of thing where it'll snap to the
snaps a grid kind of thing.
Exactly, and it works really well. I'm really surprised at how apt it is to an Xbox 360 controller.
Cool.
I'm digging the visuals. They are very stylized, from an aesthetic standpoint, I think. And, it's Unreal Engine, but it doesn't even look like Unreal Engine. Like I think it looks great. Like it reminds me a lot of the early Wii games where they really went for a stylistic approach instead of just trying to go balls to the wall graphical horsepower on probably machines that, that at this point are, let's face it, they're aging, right? But man, didn't think I was going to like it. Went into it thinking, okay, yeah. Chris is talking about it. Greg's talking about it. And I'll humor them and I'll, get in on the conversation and know what I'm talking about. But, later on at a reduced price or on a Steam sale or something, could be an option. Maybe. Nice. For me. Yeah.
I will have to check it out at some point.
Yeah, really neat, man. I got to say, I really, 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 really like it. In terms of something I wouldn't play normally. So let's say it's a pleasant surprise. How about that?
Giving you a nice little flavor of genre you don't normally dip your toes in very often.
Yeah, pretty neat. And the other thing, I think you and I had one thing in common that we played, so we'll kind of save that for after the middle segment. But I am close to the end of last story, and I'm not really going to go too much more into that because we've talked about that 2 weeks in a row. But it sat down with the demo of the Denpa Men. They came by sea on the 3DS. It's supposed to be a dungeon crawler. Not really it is sort of a dungeon crawl, but it does have turn-based battles. Not random, enemies on screen. Weird and super kind of Japanese. But I guess Denpa Men, the best way for me to explain what they are, imagine little tiny, like Teletubby looking things.
Right.
Okay. All right. So different colored little suits. Some of them have antenna on their head and small faces, like men's faces. Some are scrunchy, some are smiley, all that kind of crap. Okay. So when you first boot it up, it tells you have to go up into this observatory. It's like like a huge radar dish type of thing. And it implements a little bit of augmented reality stuff where you literally have to move the 3DS around the room. And as it, takes a live representation of your environment and your surroundings, little tiny Denpa Men are flying around, and in the A button, you have a net you can shoot out and capture these Denpa Men. So ones with antenna have skills, and the other ones that don't are just basically brawlers. When you shoot that out, you can grab one. Like I grabbed a black one with a little tiny antenna on his head, and he could do a skill of his own. And I found one that was looked like a candy cane. He was like candy striped. It was it was very odd, but he had a heal skill that he could heal, one person at a time. And the main character that you play as, he has a revive, and he can revive different party members. And as a general rule, as far as I knew, you just took 4 people with you, the main character that you have and 3 others that you capture. So I think you can sit there and capture just about as many as you want, but once they die, they're done, I think. And then you have to go get other ones. So, I go down into this dungeon, and you're supposed to be heading to this tower. Or I don't know. The story is about as convoluted as they come, but yeah. But as I'm walking through the dungeon, it seems like you can aggro things way too easy and from too long of a distance. And you aggro these things, they come running at you, and it's sort of, I mean, the screen doesn't shatter and go into a battle, but it's basically the same thing, you know. I'm fighting these things, and they're way too strong for the first enemies that you fight. They're these little, like, pigs, or rabbit pigs, or something with swords and shit. Yeah, it's weird, dude. It's completely weird. So they're beating me up. I'm finding little items and treasure chests and things like that. You know, there is the typical, go all the way out of your way to the side of the map to find a couple of chests type of exploration thing to it. So, you know, all that's all well and good. But if you don't start moving your party, the second that battle's over, those things respawn within seconds.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's just odd. And I had a party wipe through that first dungeon, and I gotta admit, I just never went back to it. It was the first time on a Nintendo platform that I'm like, you know what? Really glad they had a demo this time, because I had heard good things about that game, but maybe, I don't know. It's just a distinct possibility. Maybe I was playing it wrong. I don't know, but I think I have enough turn-based battle system experience I felt to not be doing that, you know?
You should be alright with it.
Oh my god, it was odd. I thought it was kind of neat that they implement, you know, a lot of the back-of-the-box bullet points of the hardware, you know, with the augmented reality and things like that. It is really neat. But, man, it seems like there's a good idea there. It would just appear that the balance is off. The actual game balance. So, I don't know, very, very generic presentation and things. I wasn't super, super impressed. But, you know, if at the right price, could be something to play around with, you know, on a sale or something. The problem is that most of Nintendo's digital stuff really doesn't go on sale that deeply cut. So now that's about it for me, man, until we get to discuss a little bit of what you've been playing besides Guild Wars 2. And you know what? We're going to get to that right after this little interview extra live with Greg and Robin. So while Dan holds on, I am here with a couple of the VGhub Extra Life participant teammates, Mr. Greg DeLacy, MurphysLaw, and Robin Tate, Mr. Bongo the Sane. So, how you guys doing?
Yeah, okay. Hi, Robin here, Bongo the Sane from Northern Ireland, and I'm really happy to be here, Jeff. So it's I can't wait to get going.
Pulled up the Jeff reference and we're not even a minute in. I love it.
Yeah. Some might say a Jefference.
A Jefference, yes.
Yeah. So, you know, kind of what I wanted to do. This is the first in hopefully
Excuse me, mister.
Yes.
Excuse me. I'd like to introduce myself.
Oh, go ahead.
I know you gave the Englishman the intro, but just because I was making fun of you.
You get to introduce yourself every week.
Wait, did I just call you an Englishman?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
My bad. Sorry, Rob.
I'm a British citizen from Northern Ireland there. That'll do, yeah.
Aren't you guys all one and the same?
Yeah.
One big happy country now?
It's very happy. We had the Olympics. No, they had the Olympics. We didn't. We watched it on TV. But then again, you didn't watch it on TV because it was only time delayed by an hour, but that's okay.
All right, well, I suppose I can introduce myself. Greg DeLacy, Overseas Connection, host of the show, Gaming for the Elderly, moderator, if you will, troublemaker, some might say.
Yeah, bigger stress on the latter.
Yeah, some might say.
So, before I was rudely interrupted, like I said, this is going to hopefully be the first in a long line, and not long line, but, 3 or 4 little interviews, so you can meet maybe the participants that you could potentially donate to in the 2012 Extra Life 24-hour gaming marathon. So, guys, I got a list of questions here, and I'm just going to kind of rapid fire them off, and we'll start with you, Bongo. Who is Robin Tate? So, what does an average day in the life of Robin consist of?
Well, I'm 43 years old. I'm a sales manager for a large catering company, and we travel all over Ireland supplying McDonald's and Subway and KFC and helping people get fat in many different ways. I've got a couple of boys of my own who are great Xbox fans. Wazoo, who's 12, and Charlie Pop, who's 6. And my wife and I also foster some kids too. So we've got a 16-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy at the moment. We've been doing that for about 5 odd years.
Wow.
Life is busy. And I have to say that I thank the Force every day for what I have. And just aim to make the most of every moment. And if you spend a bit of time with me, you know I'm sort of full on and a bit hyper and not exactly shy and retiring. So so that's me. Yeah.
That's pretty good. How about you, Greg? What's an average day in the life of Greg consist of?
Let's see. 43 as well. Father of one.
I thought you were older.
No, I just turned 43 on the 29th of September. Sorry, Robin, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the walker leads people the wrong way. You know what I mean?
But yeah, no, I have a 3.5-year-old little boy. He does have special needs, so it presents its own special challenges with that. But I, too, just like Robin was saying, I thank the Force or whatever you want to call it every day that my life has been kind of blessed in a lot of different ways. I'm not going to dive into the semantics of it all, but in a nutshell, my situation with my son is about as perfect as it could be, all things considered. So I get to work from home. And his special needs school happens to be right across the street from where I live. So literally, it all has worked out in this crazy kind of fashion. But beyond that, like I said, I work from home. I work for an online news website called HispanicBusiness.com. And we kind of cater more towards the Hispanic side. And I sell advertising. So I get to sit at home working off the computer, making phone calls, talking to people, companies like Microsoft, like HP, that kind of thing, and doing deals for them. And average day for me is taking care of my son, getting him off to school, going to work by logging into a computer, and then surfing video game websites. That's the average day for me.
That doesn't sound too bad.
It's not the worst life in the world, that's for sure.
So, Greg, what hospital are you playing for this year?
This year, as in the past 3 years, Oakland Children's Miracle Hospital, or Oakland, I guess it's just Oakland. I'm trying to remember the exact name of the hospital, but it's basically Oakland's main hospital.
Okay. Now, Bongo, what hospital you're playing for? I think you mentioned to me that you had a little special connection to this place.
Yeah. Like Greg, one of my boys, one of the foster kids who's part of the family, been with us 5 years now, he's 8, and he's actually going to the Royal Hospital for Sick Children in Belfast next Wednesday for quite a sizable operation. But he's been there quite a bit, especially as he's cerebral palsy and a rake of other things wrong, but he's a great lad. And he's in there quite a bit. I got speaking to some of the doctors there, and they're aware of this charity and this event, actually. So that's nice. It sort of brings it home that it's not just another name. The money actually does appear in these hospitals, and it does good. I mean, they bring in, they pay for things like clowns in this hospital to bring in and cheer up the kids, and games and entertainers, and it's just fantastic to see that the small little bit of work that we do here actually does sound good. So yeah, bro.
Well, I mean, you think about it. The money that Extra Life brings in, that's just one day, one fundraising event out of the whole year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys had a chance to listen to the interview that I did with Amanda, my contact down here last week. But man, just some of the things. I mean, we don't even consider.
I hear she's a fantastic girl. Really.
Yeah, she was great. She was awesome. Yeah. All right, so Greg, what kind of other activities or hobbies do you enjoy outside of gaming?
Are there other activities and hobbies?
Supposedly. Yeah.
Well, I'm a big sports nut. Primarily hockey and NFL football. Love both those sports. I'm not a big football person unless we're talking World Cup.
Yeah.
And Olympics, I'll pay attention to it there as well. But yeah, those are two big sports I love to follow, the hockey, and football. And so, those consume a lot of my time when in season. And outside of that, I think probably the only other real big activity / hobby for me is the gym.
Yeah.
I'm as you know, Steve, we've talked many a times in the morning when I'm coming home from the gym.
Yeah.
I pretty much regularly get up at least 5 days out of the week, sometime between 5 and 5:30 in the morning, and I go hit the gym for an hour, and then I come back home and start my day. So that's pretty much it. At one point, Robin, I did actually do some running, similar to what you did, and I participated in a few 5K races, but bottom line, I hate running. God, I hate running.
Yeah, well, I hate the gym.
Yeah.
So there we go. We'll never meet in those places. Yeah, well, we're all pretty similar. I mean, for me, about a month ago, 6 weeks ago now, we moved from a small village, and I live in a small village in the right smack bang in the middle of Northern Ireland called Ahoghil, and that's spelled Ahoghil, Ahog Hill.
Wow.
As the Ahoghil. So we moved, and that's tiny, but we moved about 2 miles outside of that into the sticks. It is. There are no street lights. There's nothing. Actually, I was up my driveway tonight there, and it's so dark. The stars are so clear. It's fantastic. So we've been consumed by this massive garden and barns and lovely big house that we've moved into. So that's really taken up a lot of our time over the last couple of weeks, and will continue to. So my new hobby is grass cutting, half an acre of a lawn, DIY, and the local hardware store. Apart from that, I have a fantastic big garage. I have a plan that I'm now building, and I collect old consoles. So Atari 2600s. In fact, when I was in London at the weekend, I got a Sega Mega Drive.
Excellent.
So my plan is that I'm going to build a big tower with a big TV and have all of these active to play at any one time. Just, nerd. So, I run. So not as much as I have the last few years, since July with the house move and everything. But last year I done 6 half marathons and a full.
Wow. And
lots of all small races and stuff. So, but yeah, I enjoy that. It's a nice way for me, because my life is so busy work-wise, and then with all the kids in this house, I need swinging doors, not ordinary doors. I find it a great way to switch off. Maybe you're the same about the gym.
Yeah, you're a better man than I with those half marathons and stuff.
I don't know.
Hey, Robin, I have a question. You said you lived in a village. So, in the United States, we don't call any of our towns or cities or anything like that villages. So, I'm kind of trying to equate that out to maybe something in the U.S. So, like in the U.S., it kind of goes from like the boonies or the sticks, if you will, to a town. Then I would say it probably goes, and Steve, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you're a postal worker. You probably know this a little better than I do. But I mean, basically like a town to the suburbs, then to a city.
Well, you know what? See, we have around here at least boroughs, and we actually do have a village.
Well, is it really a village, or is it like, is the village kind of an area of the city, or that's called the village?
No, I think it's a classification. I think it's actually like a population classification. You know what I mean?
We have a little town square, or it's a triangle,
right.
And there's a convenience store there, a Chinese takeaway, a butcher's shop, a hairdresser's, and a little cart in the middle of the triangle with flowers growing out of it. And that's about it. A furniture, maybe a little small furniture shop. And it's about 100 yards long, and it's all clumped together, and 100 yards either side you are in the sticks, and there's a few small residential developments around it. So
I'd call that a town, a little town, a tiny town. But but what cracks me up is it's you've got it's real small and it's out of the way, and yet you have a Chinese food place.
God, everywhere has a Chinese. Well, it used to be called Stevens, which was really not the best name for a Chinese place. In fact, speaking of takeaways, I passed a place that my company had done some business with last year, and it was called Amigos. And Amigos have went out of business, and it's now called Come In. And I'm sure it's meant to be cumin, but in Northern Ireland you pronounce it Come In, and it for a takeaway, it just doesn't work.
All right, let me try to wrangle this back into some semblance of order.
Sorry. Anyway, village, country.
Village.
Yes, country fete. Yes, they have little drumming competitions in the summertime and floral competitions for the best village in the UK and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, cool.
So
excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so next, Greg, how do you fit gaming into your life?
As often as I can, when I can. It is difficult, and I for sure thought it would be easier as my son got older. And in fact, I think it has been just the opposite. Yeah. Robin, you probably definitely know this, quite well on your end. But, I mean, really for me, I try to fit the gaming time in off hours when I'm not doing family things. You know, I often jump on early in the morning, or we'll stay up a little later in the evening and let my wife go to bed. And, you know, my son's already down, so I can just, jump in and play. We also happen to live in a relatively small condo, so, my gaming setup is in a shared TV room where we normally would watch TV together as well. So it's not like I can just throw on a game whenever I want and not affect my wife. So I try to be considerate and share the time. But yeah, it really becomes I have to carve out gaming time here and there, and more often than not, it's at odd times and times when I'm not going to be terribly social. So for those of you that see me on maybe early in the morning my time, if I don't respond to a message from you, it's not because I'm trying to be rude. It's just because I really can't talk. Otherwise, I will be waking people up.
Yeah.
And we all know you don't wake the wife up.
No, you don't do that. No.
Especially with video game noise.
Yeah, nor the kid. Yeah.
Dakota sound effect. Are you really talking about video games?
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
So it's the same pretty much for you, Robin?
Yeah, juggling, family, work, gaming. The other problem is that from 5 and 6 year old upwards and a 12-year-old, I fight for my time because I'm not the only one who games. I have a house full of gamers now, so we have multiple systems in multiple rooms trying to accommodate everything.
Yeah.
But again, mostly I try to grab what I can most days. I usually try to squeeze in an hour or so every day. I changed my habits. I used to be a real big nerd on films at night time, and now I hardly watch any TV at all. Maybe stuff on Netflix. So the odd time lying in bed, but the majority of my time now that I would have been sitting in front of TV, I'll grab an hour because I get more entertainment out of a really good game now than I do out of some crappy reality TV program.
Yeah.
But then again, I have been known to work from home the odd day.
Quote unquote work.
Is that air quotes going on there?
Yeah, paperwork. But yeah, if you had all the time in the world to play games, would you want to just play games?
Yeah,
I think part of the thrill of the attraction is when you have no time, you make the best use of that time. And I like to squeeze in some good games.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. So, Greg, looking back, what one game? I mean, can you even come up with one game in particular that maybe made the greatest impact on you? Like it was the time that cemented you as a gamer.
There's two answers to that. I mean, there's my first exposure to a game, which was Pong, which our family had one of those, original Pong sets that came out that was just Pong, black and white TV.
Yeah.
And we, as a family, just had so much fun with that. So, I mean, I look at that as, it was my first exposure to video games, but it was such a fun exposure that I think, it was a natural progression for me to stick with video games kind of going down the line. But I think the game that really got me hooked, where I felt like I had an addiction to where it literally, I won't say caused problems, but it was XCOM. Believe it or not, I had just taken an internship. Yeah, I had taken an internship at a law firm, and they had a PC there that I did a lot of work on, and somebody had installed XCOM on the PC. I would stay late at work after hours for a good 2-3 hours after everybody had left, just playing XCOM.
I hope you were getting credit for doing extra work.
No, it was just me.
He's dedicated.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Me trying to sneak it in because I felt so guilty. I mean, at that point, I still had that gamer guilt where it's like, what are you doing? Nothing. Don't ask. Don't tell. You know? But yeah, XCOM, and I am so excited for next week.
Oh, yeah.
When the new XCOM remake comes out. I am giddy with excitement.
So what about you, Bongo? What was your first exposure, and what game made the greatest impact on you?
Wow. First exposure to any sort of video game, I looked at this, thought about this. It's actually a game when I was 8 years old in an arcade called Boot Hill, 1977. And Boot Hill had triggers. It was like black and white, 2 cowboys, 2 player. You had to try and shoot each other. Just a bit above Pong. But that was okay. It was quite difficult, but really, impact-wise, my parents had a caravan, mobile home in Seaside Town, and we spent a lot of our summers there, and there was a few arcades. And we were there. I spent all summer, and when Space Invaders arrived, that sound, that boom, 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 that bass, it just got in. You felt it. It was
right.
I know it's such a basic game, and that's when you stood over the shoulder and watched this guy who was absolutely fantastic with it, and looked at technique. I mean, they were the guys that invented, a cover system, long before Gears of War.
Yeah.
Well, but
True.
Yeah. So Space Invaders, as an arcade, and home, Manic Miner.
Yeah.
Just fantastic, hardcore, just brilliant. And that's the Super Meat Boy of 1980s. My first old computer. And then I suppose the ones that I spent so much time on as a child then would be Elite on a Commodore 64 or an Amiga. So I just got lost in that universe. But the one that really changed me as a gamer and has had an effect on probably all of my life is Quake.
Oh yeah.
Quake.
And at the time I started playing Quake, I was working, and I got playing online multiplayer, and then I ended up just organising LAN meets with a few guys. There was 5 or 6 of us, and then there was 12 of us, and then there was 30 of us, and then we had to book a hotel room, and then there was 50. And I think we've done about 8 of these, and the biggest one had about 140 guys.
Oh.
We networked all the computers together, had a big competition, sponsorship, and that's a big thing. So
yeah.
It was great fun, but yeah, so that's really, I was hooked from Space Invaders, I was hooked, but it really has been a part of my life for a long time, in one shape or form. And I sort of left. I left the PC behind, and family came along, and then consoles came on board. So I think probably like a lot of us, we all have some sort of stories about what we got hooked on. By the way, I played XCOM at the weekend.
Yeah,
the new
Eurogamer.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Don't know if it's my cup of tea, but it looks really good.
All right, boys. So each one of you, in particular, participated in Extra Life last year. So, Greg, just a little bit. What was your experience like, and how did your 24 hours go down last year?
It always goes down about the same. This is actually going to be my 3rd Extra Life in a row, and it's funny because it the past 2 years it started off eerily similar, which is great at first. After, say, about the 5th hour, I start to feel pretty fatigued. Like, oh, good God, this is going to be grueling. And then I catch second wind, getting more food in me, get some more energy drinks going. The amount of energy drinks I think I ingest in that 24-hour period has to be completely unhealthy, but I'm not sure I could do it without. And I go good up until right around the 21st, 22nd hour. And then at that point, it is just, I am fighting it, and I would like to die. I mean, I'm just like, it is painful to get through those last couple hours. I will say this to any listeners that are, potentially going to be online gaming when some of us are doing our Extra Life, marathons. if you can find out when those last hours are happening for us, yeah, jump on, talk to us, help us out, because I'll tell you, one thing that saved my bacon last year was getting on and helping Stu beat Gears of War 3. And we, I jumped into his game and helped him finish it out. And if I hadn't done that right before then, I was just I was miserable. Just miserable.
3 o'clock in the morning is a bitch.
Yeah, well, I was thinking sort of 3:30.
Yeah.
The darkest hour is before the dawn.
Yeah.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed last year. It was my first year. The thought of playing games for 24 hours is just a dream. The kids went away for the day. They left me alone. It was fantastic. I could turn the volume up very loud for most of the time. And you're absolutely right. The liquid coffee ingested. I had a few beers through the day. Had a ball, sat in my pants, and I think I played Rage for most of the day. Went from cover to cover, Rage, and in the middle of the night we've done some Gears, and then into Forza, and that was so much. Did you play the Forza with us, Greg?
I think I played a little bit of Forza with you guys.
Forza football.
Yes.
It was so funny. Absolutely, it was hilarious. The community were absolutely fantastic. Messages, guys keep popping in and out all the time. I kept my little blog of the day, what I was doing hour by hour, and how I was feeling. And yeah, you do get a really, really grotty feeling. But for me, the last few hours were probably some of the best because of the community and the guys coming in. But after the 24 hours was over, I went and I had a shower, and I came down and I went, I'm not ready for sleep yet.
Yep,
I know.
And I jumped into that session with Stu playing Gears of War 3. So I think I went for about 28 hours before I collapsed. But it was good fun. But this year I think we should sit in a bath of beans while playing. That really would lift it, because you say, I'm going to play video games for 24 hours. Will you give me some money? You're going to play video games for 24 hours? How hard is that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, so I think we should do something else. Like, I don't know, sit on a bed of meals.
No.
Actually, sitting for 24 hours playing games is hard. Actually, it is quite hard.
For me last year, I finished up and I told Greg, I was like, sorry about your luck, dude. I can't stay on anymore. I got to go to bed. And I laid down and I went to sleep, and I bet you I only slept for 2 hours.
Yeah. I got done and I took a shower, and I was just so groggy tired. I jumped into bed and I fell asleep for an hour, and then I woke up and I was up until 11:30 that night. And I was like, are you kidding me? I can't. I was just not tired, and my wife is looking at me like I'm just insane.
I know. Well, plus football was on too, and I was like, I got to be up, and whatever.
Was that Manchester United and Liverpool?
No. So, all right, guys, let's finish this up here. Just in closing, Greg, any plans on what you'll be playing for the marathon? Maybe on maybe what you'll start out with?
Well, I think some of the games that will definitely be in the queue are going to be probably XCOM for a little bit. Although I worry about slow-paced tactical games or anything that is real strategy and not actiony, because again, you're sitting there, it's easy to get tired.
Yeah.
And so if it's something that just makes you think for a while, there'll be no card battle games. Let me just tell you that. But Borderlands 2, I think, probably will still be in the queue being played. So that easily will be a game that gets popped in. I could see some Forza. I could see some Battlefield 3. Any kind of team-oriented, cooperative or team-based games are certainly going to be preferable.
Yeah. Robin, what about you?
What date's it on? Is it the 20th?
20th, yeah.
Again?
Yep.
Yeah.
Boss. I think the Forza Horizon's out on the 23rd.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So, Dishonored will definitely be a purchase for me. I played a lot of it at the show, went to dev session, so definitely that. Again, I have Borderlands 2 sitting there on my shelf ready to go in. I've got Max Payne, and I've got a few scary games. I've got some of the fear series that I might put on in the middle of the night to really scare the crap out of myself, keep myself awake. Look, I tell you what, at the beginning of the year, I had a pile of shame up to my chest. I think there's photographs of it somewhere. It's now at my waist. This is my year of value, and I'm making the most of the games that I have rather than moving on to new and shiny.
Good man. Good man.
And having a great time doing that. I've got tons to play. But again, multiplayer with other people is great. I played Rage last year, and it was a solitary grind in the middle of the night. And when I started to play all the multiplayer stuff with the people from the community, they're fantastic. It was great, and that really made it for me. So,
cool. I think so far I'm looking at dusting off a few last Wii games to kind of send that generation out with a bang. You know what I mean? It's nice to put a nice bookend, on the Wii and kind of close that out. So
don't make me talk about the Wii, Steve. Don't make me talk
bastards.
About it. I should bring up one thing. I'm actually going to be doing my 24-hour stint the night before. I'll be starting off the 19th. Through a very unfortunate set of scheduling, I'm actually leaving on October 21st.
On a jet plane?
Yeah, to Chicago. I have a business trip to Chicago, so I figured I probably should try and get at least a few hours of sleep in before taking off for a work trip. So I'm going to do the 19th to the 20th is going to be my 24-hour stretch instead of the 20th to the 21st. So I'll be wrapping up Bongo as you were kicking yours off.
19th to 20th. That's the Saturday Sunday. Oh God.
Yeah.
22nd of October. Sorry, excuse me. On that Monday, I'm going to Paris.
Well, there you go.
On a business trip.
Yeah, you better be ready early.
Okay. Well, I'll be playing on the Saturday night. I don't think I'll rest easy. But sure, French people will be okay. I'll be slurring my words. They'll understand.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and as always, excellent interview, and good luck with your fundraising and with the marathon itself.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Dan, we're going to get into a little bit of what you've been playing, and man, those guys are great. I learned so much about Bongo. That interview, he is actually a funny chap.
Yeah.
Take it away, Dan.
Yeah, well, I have actually played something other than Guild Wars 2. I've played a bit of Bad Piggies.
It wasn't because I twisted your arm or anything, was it?
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, about half an hour before we started. Have you played this? Oh.
All right, so pick up.
Yeah, basically, you've probably all heard about it. Same makers as Angry Birds. This time you're playing as the pigs. It's quite fun switching sides, isn't it? It's obviously, not the same. You're not trying to destroy stuff as you were in Angry Birds. You're just more trying to make things. It's more creative, so you can basically guide your pig to a safe bit at home, making a series of like flying and driving machines. It's quite fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Greg had in our phone conversation the other day, he had sort of referred to it as a mobile sort of 2D representation of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, kind of.
Yeah, that's the game I was trying to remember when I was playing it. I was thinking, I'm sure I played something like this. But yeah, it's basically 2D. That. Yeah, really fun. Incredibly addictive. I can see me playing a lot of that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, especially with the price on Android. I mean, you can't be free.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I got a chance to tinker with it, and I really wasn't going to download it, but then, the little nieces, they're like, can we play Angry Birds? And I'm like, man, Angry Birds, that's so last year, And, so what about Bad Piggies? And the youngest one, her eyes get real big, and she goes, oh, what's Bad Piggies? It's right there, the word bad and piggies, it's everything a little kid could ever want, That's
like some perfect storm of little niche games.
but I had trouble figuring it out at the beginning because I didn't realize that you put the pig inside the crate. So when you're building this thing, it gives you X amount. Yeah.
I dropped the pig.
I dropped the ball. So when you start out, it gives you X amount of this piece, X amount of this piece, X amount of this piece, and X amount of this piece, right? And it gives you a grid of anywhere from, 6 to 8 squares in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that will get larger and larger over time.
Yeah, it must do. Otherwise, it'd soon start running out.
I know, it'd be pretty boring. And then, little pieces like fans and, what's it? And like,
bellows.
Bellows, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way that you make these sort of vehicles move. But in the beginning, I'm sitting there thinking, Dan, it was weird. Like, we were looking at it, and I'm like, okay, I haven't read anything about this. I don't know what I'm doing. So here, I'm sitting there thinking, boy, it would be really cool to put, 2 crates in the middle and wheels on both ends and then throw the pig on top and have it be, just like a cart with wheels on the ends. And here, the thing just crumples in the middle, and it just falls, and the pig actually rolled down the hill and finished the first stage. It was terrible. Oh, it was awful. But it is a lot different of an approach than Angry Birds.
Yeah, definitely. But there's a lot of the tools that are at your disposal. They appear familiar because a lot of the elements they're used by the pigs in Angry Birds to build the shelters. So that's kind of nice, that tie-in.
Well, and it's the same continuity as far as visual design goes.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. I'm starting to see the challenge now to where there are little things. You remember the things that you'd see at carnivals and amusement parks with the bowling ball that you try to roll it over the first hump and try to keep it from going up to the second hump and try to get it down in the middle of that little dip?
I'm just going to say yes.
Well, they have them at the local theme park here.
Right.
The thing is that when you roll that bowling ball, you have to roll it hard enough to get it over top of the first hump, but then the back after that next dip, the back of it is so high that if it gets up there, it has enough momentum to generally bring it back over top of the first hump, and you lose. So the goal is to let it rest inside that second the bottom of that second wave.
Right.
And it's kind of like that a little bit. Like, there are places where I'm seeing that, okay, I don't need to press the bellows to get this thing to move that fast, but I need to bring it back enough to get this little special, there's little special pickups and things like that.
Yeah, so you can get 3 stars.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I feel a lot more macho playing this than I ever did playing Angry Birds.
Yeah, there's something, I don't know, a bit more cerebral about it.
Maybe macho's the wrong word, but I always felt like, oh yeah, there is something super casual about Angry Birds, whereas this, there's a little more in depth, and I think there are a couple of more layers of mechanical systems that sort of separate that from the previous casual entries in. I mean, do we call this a series now?
A series of 2? Maybe not.
I mean, you figure there's Angry Birds.
I suppose, yeah, there's the other Angry Birds ones, weren't there?
Yeah, all that stuff. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a franchise now?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm hoping that there's, birds just flying in and they'll break your stuff. You know what I mean? I think that'd be great. I mean, I don't know. I haven't played enough of it to know either way. But yeah, kind of neat. Kind of neat.
It's well worth picking up. I think if you're unlucky enough not to have an Android device, I think it's something like, was it 99 cents for the iPhone and iPad version?
Probably. Is there there's probably a trial on there too, huh?
According to this thing I'm looking at, it says no trial available, purchase only.
Ooh.
So,
yeah, I gotta say, I don't really dig the ads in the free Android version, but I guess it is what it is,
Yeah.
But
I haven't actually noticed them. I've been playing it. I didn't notice them at all.
So what's the Guild Wars 2 update for this week?
Yeah, well, there's some new stuff actually, ready for October and fall, as I guess you guys say it. I'm just looking for the link now. Can't find it anywhere. Yeah, we go. There's some new color packs. Not really bothered about them, but apparently they've ramped up the Black Lion chests, so the stuff you get in them is much better.
Oh, cool.
Got new and improved items in them, which would be nice because I've got nearly 40 of those chests. I just want a key. One damn key. And there's 25% off booster packs. There's something new coming up. Gary and I last week finished our monthly challenge, and the bottom one was kill. We had to kill something like 50 people in World versus World.
Okay.
And the clock, the monthly clock changed on the 1st of October, and now that bottom one has just got 3 question marks, and no one knows what it does yet. So we've got no idea what it is. We've got to do to get it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm just playing a lot of the kind of end game stuff with Gary at the moment. It's getting really good. So much fun. I'm not going to ruin it for anyone, but so fun.
I got to get back in it. I got to get last story out of the way. I'm close. I think there's 42 chapters, and I want to say I'm on 38 or 39. So
by the time you get back in, we'll probably have something for you to choose to buy for the guild. So.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. You guys should probably be making the choices anyway.
Well, we have been. But yeah, it's been so much fun. Really looking forward. There's some special things coming up. They were talking about. Obviously, they're doing something for Halloween this year.
I figured they would. They did all that stuff in the original game. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a kind of sneaky picture they've put of like the moon with this kind of evil grinning face.
Yeah, I think they did that in the last one, and then Lion's Arch in the original Guild Wars, they turned into like a super huge cauldron. And it bubbled and everything. And then there was, I forget what it was. It was like the Mad Witch King or something like that. He would come and he would tell jokes and things. And if you didn't laugh, you'd have to do a certain amount of things correct to get a mask. Yeah, it was great. Those events in the original Guild Wars were a lot of fun.
Oh, there is something else I've been doing. It is still Guild Wars related. I started reading the first of the, I think there's going to be 3 books, aren't there? I think 2 of them are out. I'm not sure about the 3rd one. Ghosts of Ascalon. Anyway, absolutely fantastic.
Oh, that was the one that's supposed to be in between the 2.
Yeah,
right?
I think all 3 books are meant to be kind of in between the 2 games.
Okay.
And yeah, really enjoying it. Well worth the £3 I think it's on Amazon at the moment.
Who's the author?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that. Why didn't I think
I just wonder. I mean, it probably doesn't matter, but I can't remember. And I was all about that book when I realized that, oh, cool, this is going to bridge between this and whenever Guild Wars 2 comes out, which at that time was God only knows when. Yeah,
well, hang on. I'm just bringing it up. It's by Matt Forbeck and Jeff Grubb.
Okay.
Apparently.
Okay.
Really enjoying it. Well written. Every night I'm reading 20, 30 pages before I finally doze off asleep. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, £3 at the moment.
Sweet. Was that on your tablet or was that on?
It's £3 for the paperback if you can.
Oh, sweet.
And I think it's about that price of the Kindle as well.
Wow, I might have to go ahead and get the hard copy on that. Awesome.
Yeah, really good. Well worth digging into.
All right, Dan, well, how about some shout-outs for episode 88?
Well, again, some reason almost every week I only have one. This week it's to the latest person who's sent some money to Extra Life, and that's Claire Siggery, friend of mine over in Bristol, who probably will never hear this. So,
well, kudos to her anyway. Yeah.
That's about it. What about you, Steve?
Well, I want to shout out my sponsors. The most recent, Kay Conger, my mother, Pam Bowen. She donates every year. She is a friend of my mother's, and neither of them, plus John Matiko, will ever hear this, but thank you very much for the generous donations. Also, big shout out to Danak for joining the Extra Life VGhub team.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so we're up to 13 people. I think we lost one from last year, so that we've had 3 new ones since compared to last year's team. So. And I think that's a little bit about what Amanda talked about last week was, how about a gamer goal? Not just a money goal, try to get more people involved. So
yeah,
that's been pretty cool. And I'm glad to see people getting in on it because it is a really, really neat way to spend 24 hours and good for kids. So obviously VGhub.net, a great wealth of gaming content at VGhub.net, just about something for everyone. And I got one super special shout out this week. And that it goes out to my wife. You can actually message her on Twitter at it is at Congo. It is C0NG0. We've kind of been keeping a lid on this as far as social networks and things like that for a while, but after 7 years, it would seem that her and I are going to be parents.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, I mean, you've obviously known for a while, but
yeah. I've been keeping stum.
Yeah, which I should applaud you and thank you for that also.
That's quite all right, man.
So yeah, a lot of you may know that in the summer, early in the summer, right around the 4th of July, she was sick and in and out of the hospital. And at that point, she was not pregnant. So she took some stress leave time off, and I think she was de-stressed, no cigarettes. She basically was pumped full of fluid, so it was almost like she probably had her oil changed, you know, a little bit like her personal oil changed. And
10,000 mile service.
Yeah. And, all of a sudden, as you knew, right in the middle when we were recording the show with Casino, she runs upstairs and she says, oh my God, I can't believe it. And she showed me the pregnancy test, and you guys know we were right in the middle recording something. I just dropped everything and just walked away.
I've got to go.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow.
So everything seems to be falling in line. We've had a couple of ultrasounds, and they have been good, and we had one this morning. And they're saying that it's probably like a 90% chance that we're going to have a little boy. So
congratulations, man.
I am way too excited. Yeah, way too excited to get started on the sort of superhero nursery.
Yeah. Get childlike out into the world.
I know, dude. I was so jazzed to do like a classic X-Men, like an original X-Men nursery, because I had this whole visual thing in my head of just going and getting some acrylics and painting on the wall and making like Angel right above the crib, you know, with his wings spread out and onto the ceiling and stuff like that, you know, and shot down. Too scary, I guess. I don't know. Dude, I had it. It was all set up too, man. I had it all in my head. It was like smoke detectors painted with X symbols, and it was disgusting. I was so ready for it, but no, apparently not. But we're going to try to do something like that. So we're going to figure something out. But yeah, I mean, it's just all the things that we've been through and that she's went through. And she is sort of gestational diabetes prone now. So, just send her out some warm thoughts on Twitter. She has to, the girl that's deathly afraid of needles now has to give herself 3 injections of insulin every day. So. But they did say that 4 hours after giving birth, she could be right back to normal.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So April 14th is the tentative day, but they say gestational women give birth anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks early. So.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it's a lot to take in, and it's getting more and more real by the day.
Yeah, getting closer and closer. You get those bags packed and
oh my God.
Figure out the fastest route.
I am so excited, though. So, I mean, I guess this would be as good a time as any to sort of, throw this out there that we're planning on going to episode 99, this year, and have episode 100 be the Game of the Year show. And that's probably where I am going to go out on a high note, because I feel like I have, lost time to make up for, and I'm so excited about this. I just want to be a dad first and foremost,
Well, of course, man.
Yeah. So, and this takes up a lot of time,
yeah.
On top of all the other stuff that I have. And I just don't want to become that guy who's trading time for, less important time for more important time or whatever, vice versa.
You got to get your priorities right, haven't you?
Yeah.
And being a dad is like the biggest.
I mean, look at me. I'm a 36-year-old paper boy, basically, All I do is put paper in people's mailboxes. This is the greatest thing I'm ever going to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Creating another human life is the greatest thing I'm ever going to do.
I think it's
plain and simple.
The best thing anyone can do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. So, but we're older now. We're more mature. And I think we're going to appreciate it just that much more. So I'm excited.
Cool.
All right, Dan. So what about web for the week to come?
Well, yeah, as usual, Hardlydan, 0.4219 on Guild Wars 2.
It's ridiculous.
That's pretty much it. Or Twitter, at Hardlydan. Sometimes I respond to that because, every now and then take a little break and see if anyone's said anything. No one normally does, so I don't really bother. Yeah, just Hardlydan, put that in. If it comes up with something, then it's probably me. So, yeah.
Or KSI Hardlydan.
Oh, God, no.
He's motorboating women at video game expos.
I can't believe that guy. Yeah, sorry. Where can we get hold of you, Steve?
I am JSS Lyfelike. That is Twitter, that's Steam, that's Skype, that's Xbox Live sometimes, that's PSN. I've actually left my PlayStation on for about a week. I haven't done much with it, but it's been sitting there on. I should probably do something about that. But yeah, JSS Lyfeliek pretty much everywhere. If you can't find me, I'm not there. So, all right, Dan, take care of the bills. And before you get started with all that, I will say that, since we're going to go to episode 99, if you haven't had a chance or you've elected not to submit something, when we put calls out for community and stuff, I want to hear from you. I want these last few shows, I want to go out on a bang. I want to hear from just about everybody. I don't care if these last shows are all community focused and input from everybody else. So I want to hear from you through the channels that Dan is now going to recite again.
Okay, where do we record this bit? Okay, well, if you want to get hold of us, you can check us out on Facebook. We don't have any new likes this week, so I'm not going to read anyone's names out. Extra Life, yeah, I know, been talking about it a lot. We're still going to talk about it because we still want more money. Please go to extra-life.org/team/VGhub Team 2012 and sponsor one of your favourite podcasters. Actually, a few of the people on the team don't do podcasts, so perhaps give them some money. We want more voicemails because we're running out of shows and we haven't had any for ages. So call the RPG hotline at 412-267-RPG1, or you can email us at thegamesmenrpg@gmail.com. Now our Twitter account is at thegamesmenrpg, and we've got a few new followers. We've got at Unique Exemplar, at Pyrolily. How long's that taken?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what the deal is with Twitter, man. It's almost like if it'll accidentally unfollow someone and then you have to refollow. I don't know.
And we've also got Fala Ultra Chaos.
Yes.
Brilliant name. That's FALAHULTRACHAOS.
Yeah.
Thanks for that name.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank all of you.
Thanks for liking us. And, if you want to listen to this show, other than downloading it from our site, you can always check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thegamesmenrpg, and we've got a new follower on there, RS Gaming JJ.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Thank you very much. Yes, excellent. Thanks.
Hopefully we'll have some content up there soon with some tag-alongs or something.
I need to do something.
And
get off my ass and do something.
A few more iTunes reviews as well, so if you fancy rating us on that. The UK's still winning, so come on guys. More reviews.
It's amazing how much more community focused people in the United Kingdom are.
Yeah, I have no idea why.
Americans are just too busy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird, and this is no implication on anybody that listens to this show or anything, but I think as a general rule, Americans are very self-centric and self-focused. I'm starting to realize this as I get older. I don't know, but yeah, just like we said in the beginning of the show, you don't know somebody else's story unless you take a second to kind of put yourself in their shoes. Yeah. So I think that is really cool too. So well, I guess that is about it, Dan. So once again, thank you for taking a little bit of time, and it was fun to kind of talk some games with you and get a chance to listen to those guys talk about their gaming experiences and things like that. So thank you very much to Greg and to Robin, and that's about it. So on behalf of Hardlydan, I am Lyfeliek. We are the Gamesmen, and until episode 89, we ask,
what role will you play?
not fully satisfied with this podcast, please return any portion for a full refund.
So you can run and tell that, homeboy.